Hey everyone, Eggman here with another video, and today we have two top 16 breakdowns to go over. It is the first weekend of the Ultimate Cup format, not in North America, that's going to be next week, but we did have Oceania with their top 16 here, as well as the Latin American Ultimate Cup as well. Both these happened this past weekend, and we do have these top 16 breakdowns, which are linked in the description on my website as well. And before we get started, I do want to mention a couple things. First, if you guys do want some Ultimate Cup action here in North America, I'm going to do a pre-Ultimate Cup with Zulus. So it is a webcam event. It is a box tournament, so first place gets a box, and then there's also additional prizes for top 8 as well. I'm getting Yoshi as well to be commentating with me. So if you guys are more interested in that, check out the description for the link to that. It's going to be Tuesday evening, afternoon, so it's going to be a lot of fun and be streamed on my Twitch too. So if you can't play in it, make sure to check out and watch that. And talk about streaming on my Twitch, I did stream the Oceania event as well, so it is linked on the page here as well as the description. It's on my Twitch right now, and it should be up on my YouTube right here by the end of the week as well. So big shout outs to TAC for letting me do that as well. And I do also want to mention just shout out to Sai, who got 11th place here, our Digiburst with their Machinedramon. They have a deck profile on their own channel too, so make sure to check that out. And there we go. They're also, I do want to mention this top 16 for this is thanks to the Digimon Latin American Facebook group. They have a lot of good information. Going to link that too. It's also in this page. Highly recommend that. So I think that's all the linking. That's everything else. Make sure to check out all those links and pages and whatnot. But let's get into the actual top 16 here. So for the Oceania one, which I'm a little bit more, akin to, or a little bit more first-hand information for, there are 5 Machinedramons, 4 Beelzemon, 4 Bloomlords, a WarGreymon, a Gallant, and an Ulforce. And then also for the Latin American one, we had 7 whole Machinedramons, 4 Ulforce, 2 Bloomlords, 2 Beelzemon, and a red hybrid as well. And really interesting to see the Ulforce do well. Better in this one, especially since there's so much Machinedramon, and I haven't played in this format obviously a lot, but Machinedramon's definitely the one that seems to me like one of the strongest ones right now. If they're able to set up, a lot of decks just don't have a way to out Kaustinen X, which is such a big bully in this. Even Kaustinen is just sometimes a little bit rough to find an out for. So and I don't think Dexter is like a fast OTK. Obviously we have Beelzy X as well, having that deck being a little bit nerfed as well with the EX2 Impmon, which means that it's harder for it to build its trash, which means it's just inherently a little bit slower too. So there's that. Obviously Bloomlord I think is a really popular deck right now too. It did very well in the BT11, and it really only got more support since then. So I think that's really great. And then a couple of stragglers as well. Again, Ulforce. We also have a WarGreymon list that I'm happy to go over in Gallantmon, which I think Gallant does better in Ultimate Cup format since again it's a little bit slower. And I also do think it does well against some of these archetypes. So I think it's going to be good to look at too. So we're going to go over just pretty much every archetype that topped between the two, and we're kind of going to balance between both events for that too. But we're going to start off with our first place for our TAC event. So this is Christopher's first place Machinedramon. And again, we saw a bunch of Machinedramon. We saw 7 plus 5, so we have 12 whole Machinedramon list. So you guys will have to look through all these. Obviously, there's a lot of 1s and 2 ofs in a lot of these builds too. Just the fact that you're able to be kind of modular with it. All of them are playing the black base because most of the good cards are black on this one. It's not like a scenario with I think like Black War Gray X where the red and black you have to kind of make a decision for this one. Everything's in black. You do miss out on a couple level 5s because of it, but by and large, you pretty much have your entire package in this one. So very strong. Obviously, we're playing Volcanomon. I think this is more level 5s that are cyborgs because, we are missing a little bit. And then this one kind of does go up the chain a lot of it. We have Dorbick, which is great for gaining memory for tucking cards underneath your sources. We have Jazzardmon as well, being able to get the plus 1k on all turns, which is nice. We also have the Doramon. So this is one of the security rookies that are new for us here in North America. So at the end of battle, reveal this card, the top card of your deck. If it's a black Digimon with the play cost of 4 or less, you can play it. Otherwise, you get added to your hand. So generically, it's just a draw 1 off of the security, but that's usually pretty okay for you, so you keep it there. And then again, all the level 5s. And again, Kaustinen X Antibody. You guys have probably faced against this. You probably have your own opinions, and I think that's it's a very strong card there. Something also to mention here is that there's no heavy mobile attack of the heavy mobile Digimon. That's not in this deck. Some of them are running it, some of them not, but It's not as, I think, as important of a card anymore, since you don't really need to kind of push for the advantage as much. I think it's a little bit slower in this archetype and or in this meta in general, and it's not as needed. So you'll see some people running it, some people not, and Christopher deciding not to run it on this one. And generally, again, like this one does go up your line a little bit more. We do have 8 level 4s, which is quite a bit for a deck like this. And being able to go up your chain and raising, and then kind of going into either like Machinedramon or Kaustinen, everything else. Sometimes you don't really need to play the big, do the big, play and then give your opponent a lot of memory as much anymore with this deck too, which is kind of how it was balanced a lot of the time. And so with that removed, it's kind of strong there too. So anyways, this is Christopher's list. There's 11 other lists if you guys want to check out Machinedramon. I think it's honestly one of the best decks in this format. It's very strong. It's very obnoxious. In the very least, you do need to find a way to get rid of this Machinedramon. Most people kind of opt into, I can beat the deck before it goes off, which is fine. But then if they are able to set up their wall, you're going to be a bad time. So again, congrats to Christopher and all the other Machinedramon players for this weekend. Next up, we have Vicente for the Latin American event. They got first place with Bloomlord. And again, like Bloomlord is not like, I think is like an easy pick for a good deck in this format. It's pretty understood that this has always been mono green. It's generally, sometimes has like a tech option or two, but mono green is where it's at. It did very well in BT11's Ultimate Cup as well. And we just had a lot of people playing Bloomlord in both events too. So a couple of change-ups for this one in general. First, obviously, Beelzemon is at 1, so we can only run one of those. So 1 Argomon, 1 Beelzemon. And to kind of mitigate that, we also have a Pismon, which is okay. It has an inheritable of gains plus 1k for each of your others to submit a Digimon for all turns. Also, Digisorption for 2. It's a Digivolve for 3, and then it's also Vegetation. So it fits into the archetype. Obviously, you have to pay 1, but it compared to 0 for Beelzemon, but it's good there. There's also a bunch of, I guess just 1 extra, but Lotusmon, which is a fairy as well, but when Digivolve and suspend one of your opponent's Digimon, it doesn't unsuspend during your opponent's next unsuspend phase. And also, opponent's turn, all your other Digimon with Vegetation, Plant, Fairy, and one of their traits gain on deletion, gain 2 memory, and return 1 card with 3k or less DP from your trash to your hand. So being able to just have like another like level 5 or level 6 that's a fairy to go into is great. Hydramon is also at 1 for this format, so the fact that you need to have a couple more just one more level 6 makes sense to me in this build, since you just want to be able to have your level 6. And again, it is a fairy, which means it's searchable, which I think is nice. And then your usual suspects of 2 Mimis, 4 Greymon boost, a hidden potential discovered, which again, I think it needs to go away in this format, and then 3 Quartzmon, which is a new big bad boss monster for this deck, and at least this format that it didn't have in the BT11 one. It's very strong. Some decks don't have a way out of it once you get it established, which is really strong in general. And you guys, again, probably have opinions on Quartzmon as well. So this is their list. Congrats to Vicente for their finish there. And then next up, we have our second place for our Beelzemon. This is Noah with this. And in the regular BT12 format, Beelzemon was the strongest deck into the format. Obviously, we do have the one change to the deck where Entmon has to be at 1 for EX2. It doesn't, I guess, not have to, but you can't run more than 1 for this one. So we'll probably see a couple people try a couple different ratios of other Entmons for it. We obviously have like the BT2 one, which is great for still building trash. There's also the Entmon from the security rookie one. So security, at the end of battle, you may play 1 purple level 3 Digimon for your trash without paying its memory cost. Then you get to add this to your hand. So this is good for cycling through your Entmons, which is really great. And then just kind of everything else from there too. So 1 7th full cluster. Most people weren't playing X antibody in these Beelzemon builds anyways, but now you can't. So that's something impactful. Looking like adding a couple more cards. Interesting to see like Balmon X here too for when Digivolving, you get to trash top 3, and then you get to delete something 4 less instead. So I think like this card specifically, that it mills on Digivolve is just more important for it. So since building your trash is a little bit trickier without EX2 Entmon at 4 copies, which is also why we see the Darkness wave at 1 copy as well. So being able to just trash top 3 cards of your deck for additional results. So Anyways, this is the list. Congratulations to Noah for their second place for the TAC event. Next up, we have Mariano's second place Ulforce list, and we saw a bunch of Ulforce this weekend in general, and I'm not too surprised by that. Maybe a little bit more than I was expecting in general, since it can be a little bit bricky and a little bit inconsistent for kind of like the OTK deck that it wants to be at times. But I saw a lot of interesting text for this too, and it did very, very well. I'd say this did moderately better than I thought it would this weekend. So there is some tech in this one too. So I saw not only in this build but a couple other people playing the Beelzemon, which gives essentially a plus 1k to your Ulforce, more or less, and then also the Dracomon, which lets you also Digivolve for 0 on top of your Beelzemon. So that's kind of like the synergy for this one. But it has an on play, reveal the top 4 cards of your deck, add up to 1 green or blue Dramon from it to your hand, which is nice because the entire Ulforce line or just the entire line outside of Vmon are Dramons, which is cool. And then also has inheritable to give plus 1k essentially when something becomes unsuspended, or it becomes suspended. So being able to get that boost to your Ulforce could be really nice, especially since if you're playing against Machinedramon and they have like their 12k 13k body, being able to kind of pump up into a 14k with both of these is pretty great too. It just means that they can't easily block your attacks, which is kind of nice for that one. Great Maelstrom, really good removal too, and then also being able to put stuff underneath it means to reduce the cost is kind of helpful as well. Ice Wall, Blue Memboost, a bunch of tamers, and then we're also running Jerry. We're not playing like the full Leomon package, but we are running a little bit, so 3 copies of this with 2 copies of Jerry as well, and that's kind of the build there. So I think this deck is good. We do also just miss out on a level 7 because most of the ones we're using are white, which you can't use in this deck, but with this format at least. But I think Ulforce is pretty strong. We're going to see if it's, I'm going to be really interested if it continues to do as well as it has. I would kind of average about like two into the top 16s, and we'll kind of see if that's true or not. But congrats again to Mariano for their finish there. And next up we have Ryan Bews with their 5th place WarGreymon. And this is a bit of a spicier build. I'll kind of go through the combo because, on the surface, this just looks like a really average, or not average, but generic standard version of WarGrey X. Or not even X, just WarGreymon. So you go up your chains, you have like Greymons to play your ties, which is nice, and the Metal Greymon to be able to use Raid and everything. But once you get to your top end, you also can see that there's this Dorbickmon and Ragnarlordmon kind of package here too. So being able, the kind of the combo with this is that Dorbickmon you just play for as cheap as you can just to have another level 6 out. And since this WarGreymon is black and red, and then this is red, you can do the DNA Digivolution into Ragnarlordmon. So this is the one from Star Deck 13, and I did see this combo again a little bit into in BT11 Ultimate Cup 2. So you can do a DNA Digivolution with this, and it gets Blitz. And then also, when DNA Digivolving, for every 4 in this Digimon sources, delete one of your opponent's Digimon with a play cost of 20 or less, and trash the top card of your opponent's security stack. And then all turns, once per turn, when a card is removed from a player's security stack, you get to unsuspend this. So pretty much what you can do is that, let's say you have like a standard, WarGreymon stack, and then you play Dorbick. So Dorbick's going to have, 5 pieces underneath it. So let's say 6 and 6, that's 12. So you can get 3 security off your opponent's stacks and then attack for game. So, and the reason you really don't even care about the memory that much because we also run Flamedramon, which is fits into the archetype you can put underneath Dorbick for the DNA, and has an inheritable end of turn this Digimon, and one of your other Digimon may DNA Digivolve into a Digimon card in your hand for the cost. So essentially, you get to DNA, you get to use Dorbickmon and WarGreymon and go into Ragnarlord, do all the damage, get the destruction of stuff on the board, and then you're also able to attack once more with Blitz for game. So that's kind of how the deck works. It's really interesting, very unique, and really happy to see Ryan do well with this one. So that's the list there. Congratulations to Ryan for getting WarGreymon and this spicy build into BT12 Ultimate Cup format. Next up, we have Joaquin with their 5th place Red Hybrid for the Latin American event, and I'm really surprised that this is the only Red Hybrid that got a top 16 between both events for this weekend. It's something that was on my radar as one of the stronger decks into this format. Obviously, it's mostly monocolored as it is. The only cards you're really missing out are on our are Bokomon, as well as like Omni Blitz that sometimes people ran, sometimes they didn't. But in general, it was doing well in the BT12 format as it is. So it's a deck that, as generically as a multicolor would be better, doing good in this format. But it's just, I'm not sure really what the holdup is. I'm not sure if Machinedramon is something that can, really slow down this deck a lot. Obviously, you do have like a lot of easy tamer destruction in that deck too, which is kind of impactful. And I think that it's a deck that can be very aggressive, and it's going to be in my eye for it. Obviously, nothing too different, I think, for this format in particular for this, but it's something that I would expect to do a little bit better. So we're going to see if that's the case or not. It's very strong, obviously very aggressive, and you do get a lot of recycling of your tamers if you see them, and obviously a good deck that's been doing well in BT12 as well. So this is Joaquin's finish with Red Hybrid. Congratulations for there. And to wrap it up, we have Sean Gooden with their 6th place Gallantmon for the Oceania event for this. So I do like I think Gallantmon is just better in this format in general. It's a deck that did get a lot of support with BT12 as well, but we saw, I at least personally, I didn't see anyone do significantly well with the deck since BT12 has been released. So to get it one under a top 16, I think is quite a good move for the deck in general. We do have a new Takato tamer, which is just important. Like, just a tamer with the name is great too. This does set to 3 memory, and it does let you do like a warp Digivolution into Gallantmon, which is really nice. We do have like more pieces into the line. So we have like a new Gilmon, a new Growlmon, a new WarGreymon, and as well as a new Gallantmon. So obviously a deck would love to see more pieces, and now that we have them, and now that we're kind of in somewhat of a slower format where you can be now a faster deck in comparison, I think that's really strong. So this deck, I don't know. I was expecting Gallantmon to get, again, probably 1 or 2 finishes every weekend. So it's so far has been doing that. I'm going to see if we get more of that here in North America with the upcoming ones as well. But that's the list there. Congrats to Sean, and interested to see if Gallantmons continue to do well this month as well. So that's going to be it for our breakdown today. Again, we do have the TAC one, we do have the Latin American one, and both of them are in the description. If you guys want to see any of these deck lists, there's obviously a bunch we didn't cover in this video, but they are there. I highly recommend you check them out, and that is going to be it for me. So again, thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you to TAC again for letting me do the stream for this event. Thank you again to Latin American, the Digimon group on Facebook, for supplying this deck list. Wouldn't be able to make this part of the video without them, and that's going to be it for me. So again, thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you all next time.
Damn it. Damn it.